Good morning, Grizzlies, and welcome back to Live at the Blackbird. My name is Merari Ulloa.
And I'm Vincent Gorley.
First and foremost, I wanted to say Happy Women's History Month to everyone out there. Women's History Month is an annual declared month that highlights contributions of women to history and contemporary society. Spend some time this month to learn about how women made some history.
All right. In world news, there has been a recent surge in global cases of cholera, a bacterial disease that results from the consumption of unsanitized water. These cases are especially prevalent in countries that don't have access to healthcare and vaccines. Countries of the likes of Mozambique, Malawi, Haiti, India, and the Philippines have experienced the greatest rise. So for this year, there has been an estimated 26,000 cases and 650 deaths reported across 10 African countries. Due to the frequency of this cross-border movement of this disease, the World Health Organization has considered the further risk of spread to be high. In the States, we face off against a different type of disease, that being the Republican political agenda, as GOP continues to wage their war against the disenfranchised through a series of legislation sweeping the South, the latest of which targets trans youth. Mississippi becomes the 6th state to ban gender-confirming care for minors, the 3rd just this month. Tennessee has become the first state who has successfully voted in favor of a bill looking to restrict public drag shows. Claiming the shows present over-sexualized caricatures of women, Republicans have compared them to strip clubs, citing neither should be viewed by children in public spaces. In the wake of this, a photo of Tennessee's Republican governor, Bill Lee, from high school has exposed him as a cross-dresser himself. A yearbook photo of the politician recently trended on Reddit following or showing him clad in women's clothing and a wig. Despite this, Lee has said he will sign this bill into law given the chance, claiming that his drag was an example of school spirit and tradition and was not the same as the sexual performance-based drag his party seeks to ban. Upon his approval, the bill will become law on July 1st, 2023. DeSantis of Florida follows suit with his rhetoric talking about protecting children as he signed a bill that will give him special control over Disney's special Florida district in response to Disney's claims against new anti-gay and trans laws in Florida. Disney, being a large moneymaker for Florida, will have its tax handled by DeSantis-appointed taxers, and Disney's vaccine and mask protocols are planned to be compromised. The board will meet next week about this bill. The president of Disney says that he is going to move forward to make the park a fun place for all. Mike Pence, the former Florida governor, states that the bill against Disney is, quote, beyond the scope of what he, as a conservative, limited government Republican, would be prepared to do. Throughout the United States, we have also been facing extreme weather conditions. These include tornadoes sweeping the central U.S., causing panic throughout the region. Oklahoma City and the surrounding area has faced at least 16 casualties, and the Memphis area faces 114-mile-per-hour winds, as well as the recent snow and ice storms on both coasts. More about that with Marati.
Sports coming to a close, we would like to take some time to congratulate our winter sports teams. First of all, we would like to congratulate our women's basketball team for their amazing achievements of making it to the quarterfinals of states. We would also like to congratulate our boys and girls swim team for an amazing season this year and for winning districts. And with winter seasons coming to a close, that means that spring season has started. With registrations closed, but our rugby teams are still accepting new players. So if you want to join, please DM Valley.Panthers Rugby on Instagram for more information. Our spring teams are already working hard to prepare to face up against their competition. Moving on from school sports, Argentinian World Cup winner Lionel Messi has been awarded with FIFA's Best Player award. He has also bought his teammates and staff from the World Cup 35 24-karat gold iPhone 14 Pros with their names and jersey numbers embroidered in them. He has spent roughly 175,000 pounds on the iPhones. That's all I have for today, and back to Merari on the desk.
Thanks, Julio. Here locally, we've also had some wild weather lately, getting hit with an ice storm earlier this year in January, and then getting hit with a few sunny days with rain in February. But then getting hit with some more snow days. It didn't affect McMinnville terribly, but Portland had its struggles when snow fell yet again, turning the roads icy. Only one school had closed for the day, and that was David Douglas. But we've also got some updates for you. Back in February, a woman died and 6 other people were hospitalized in McMinnville. First responders arrived to the scene and found 4 people unconscious. It looked like they were ingesting fentanyl and cocaine. A McMinnville man was charged for supplying the drugs, which resulted in serious bodily injury and death. The man had told the victims to be careful because the cocaine might contain fentanyl, and one of the victims used a fentanyl test kit on the drugs twice. The first test was inconclusive, but the second came back negative, which turned out to be a false result. In fact, what the man had sold them was entirely fentanyl. In the wake of the mass overdose, 2 of the victims agreed to cooperate with investigators, allegedly identifying John Kyle Donahue as the person who provided the drugs. He was arrested on February 27th when he was found inside a home where they were executing an unrelated search warrant. Here in the school, we had a shorter week in February due to the snow, which cut into our Unity Week. ASB is looking to get that set up so we're able to have all those fun events later this month. Mission Mackay is also hosting a garage sale on Saturday, March 18th at the MHS main entrance near the food court. It will be from 10 to 2 p.m. with a portion of the proceeds going to Doran-Becker's Children's Hospital. We also have another wonderful play being hosted by our theater. Let's go over to Kristen to hear more about that.
Hi. Rehearsals for Grace Theater's upcoming courtroom drama, The Night of January 16th, are finally wrapping up. Opening this Friday, March 10th at 7 p.m., join Iron Rand's squirrely cast of characters as they attempt to uncover what truly happened to Mr. Bjorn Faulkner that fateful night. Was it a crime of passion or a tragic suicide? Come and find out. Show dates are March 10th, 11th, 16th, and 17th at 7 p.m. and March 18th at 2 p.m. Universal Studios in Hollywood has opened their own Super Nintendo World this past February 17th. The theme park edition includes opportunities to participate in real-life Mario Kart alongside iconic Nintendo characters such as Princess Peach, Luigi, and even Mario himself. In your downtime, you could rest up and fuel your stomachs for the next Mario World adventure at the Toadstool Cafe. Sit down and enjoy Chef Toad's culinary expertise while immersing yourself in the Nintendo World experience. The Oscars are set to premiere on the evening of March 12th and are to be hosted by Jimmy Kimmel at the Dolby Theater in LA. Tune in to see whether or not your favorite movies from 2022 will win it big amongst the Hollywood stars. Will Top Gun Maverick be crowned Best Picture? Will Daniel Kwan take home the Best Director's Award for Everything Everywhere All at Once? And will the Black Panther sequel yet again earn Marvel Studios its next handful of Academy Awards? March 12th at 5 p.m. is when it'll all unfold. And finally, this past weekend at the Wortman Park Art Gallery, art students from McMinnville High School were featured in a teen art show. On Saturday, the artists themselves were present at a meet and greet. Today we have an interview with one of those artists, Diego Garibay.
Hello, my name is Dylan Vincent, and I'm here with Diego Garibay, and we're here to ask him a couple questions about his recent art show on Saturday. So, Diego, why don't you introduce yourself and what you did at the art show?
Yeah, I'm Diego Garibay. I made art for my various art classes over the last 2 years, but specifically AP Studio Art, and I turned that artwork in for a deadline. I went over this past Saturday just to meet and greet different people that were curious about my art, just people that wanted to visit, see the artwork of the different high schoolers that turned in artwork. And yeah, I turned in 2 pieces of artwork that were featured in that gallery alongside my classmates and other fellow artists. Yeah, it was great.
That's a really cool experience to have. Could you explain your art piece for us?
Yeah, so the first one is just one of a hand reaching out to a rope. It's like trying to grab it. I don't know. I mean, my hand was literally a reference like this. It's reaching out in desperation. I made it in a time in which I was very stressed under work and just schoolwork, expectations, just general stresses and whatnot, other things. So yeah, that's primarily the fundamental meaning of that one. There's deeper meaning and subtext there, but I will leave that up to interpretation. And as for the second piece, which is the one that was featured down below in the gallery, It's just me sitting next to a fireplace, calling back to mi abuela's house, and sort of the smoggy nature of it in a way, crumbling and whatnot. It's titled Crumble, and it's meant to sort of represent my inner psyche in a way. So, yeah.
That's really well explained there. I really like the details you use. Is there any more like references or anything else you use to create those pieces of art?
I pull inspiration from basically all the artwork that I see around me. I mean, a piece that I'm working on right now, I'm literally pulling from video game artwork because video games play a huge role in, like, I guess my artistic perspective, how I like to consume art and stuff. But I mean, Pinterest, every once in a while, when you just need a huge load of inspiration, it will give you exactly what you're looking for as long as you just pull up one image. I mean, Pinterest is great. Literally just scrolling through Instagram, if you follow artists that you like, the days that they post, it just comes as a fun surprise to be like, oh my God, that is so cool, you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just from, it's from all sources, primarily from my phone and digital, but if I see like cool graffiti out on the street, sometimes when I'm visiting Portland or some city or just somewhere where like graffiti would be, I take a picture of it and then I use it as a reference in my own work as well. And yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, really well explained there as well. So, did you ask yourself a question when making any of this artwork, or did you kind of just make it when the process of you going back to the references?
The second art piece that I explained before was based on the question of identity and things that like are formative to my own identity. What does it mean for me? Like, who am I, really? That's what I'm exploring fundamentally. But yeah, that inquiry is something that has been really personal to me, and I'm still sort of trying to define it in my own portfolio here as I approach May deadline for the AP exam portfolio turn-in thing. But yeah, it primarily surrounds identity, who I am. The one about desperation, the hand reaching out to the rope, is based on like stress and anxiety, which has been really formative to, I guess, how I work and how I deal with stress, and just how I feel on like a day-to-day basis. And the piece Crumble is more so about isolation and feeling like you're losing a grip on like what you know, tangibly know, your family, your friends, etc. You know.
Yeah. Wow. You know, you blew me away with your explanations of everything. And my last question for you before we get into our little activity here is, why do you like art? Just simple.
It's like the best way that I know how to let some stuff out. Seeing as, you know, I could say words to try to explain different feelings, but images and visual stuff has always been what I've most been pulled to ever since I was a kid. Just creating stuff, that's always been what I care about. And you know, there was a point in my life where I did not care for art. I was just like, oh, art, drawings. But eventually, like, I just tried it and I was like, I've always liked this. I've always liked video games. I've always liked Legos. I've always liked creating. I like that feeling of creating and just having something, even if it turns out bad. It's just like, well, I created that. You know, it's
just a thought.
It's just something to let yourself have fun in a way, I guess.
Yeah, perfectly explained as well. So I am not an artist myself. I'm really bad at art. So I thought it would be fun if we did a little activity here. If we had a theme to draw.
Okay.
And I will draw with you.
Okay.
We have 60 seconds to draw
60
this theme.
seconds.
So let's grab the clipboards here, right?
I call this pen.
I call this pen. I don't know the differences. Again, I'm not an artist here. So we have 60 seconds. I'll start the timer on my phone here. We have 60 seconds to draw an action scene involving a gnome. Okay? Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go. While we're drawing here, I'm going to ask you a couple questions here. So, what is your favorite color, Diego?
As of right now, it's got to be green.
Green. Is there any reason why?
It's just calming, nature, trees. At this point, I've started to really appreciate stuff like that. So
I love that,
You know.
honestly. Yeah, nature's awesome. So name an onomatopoeia.
onomatopoeia, bow.
Love that. All right, finish the phrase. The way to my heart is
Through kindness.
through kindness. I love it. Do you correct people's grammar?
No, unless I'm honestly in a bad mood, in which case, yeah, probably, maybe, but no.
Gotcha. Tell me a joke.
Oh, that is so. This gnome that I'm drawing, it's laughable.
And bam, done. All right. So, my drawing here, it's definitely not impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Let's show the camera.
Mine is tiny. I'm so sorry, but
Do you want to explain your artwork at all?
this is the left gnome, this is the right gnome, and they're punching each other, and there's an explosion in the middle, because explosions are explosions.
Well, my gnome, you see, was pressing a button explosive,
Let's go.
and it's currently about to blow up the entire world. So, thank you for drawing with me. As you can tell, I was correct about the drawing piece. I'm not a drawer. But yeah, so that is about it for this interview. So, passing it back to the desk.
Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Diego. That was a great interview. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have left. Thank you for watching, and we've been live at the Blackbird.